Okay, today we're going to be rebuilding the power steering pump on a 2000 Dodge Durango with a 5.9 liter engine, V8 engine. And make sure to check out our video on our previous video on removing the power steering pump if you didn't get to watch that first. And what we need to do now is get to the pump, and to do that we need to pull out the pulley, and we're going to be using a power steering puller that we borrowed from O'Reilly's Auto Parts and on the loaner tool program. And we'll show you how we actually did this in a little bit, how we set it up. So we're going to pull this, and you will need to get some leverage on this. So you want to get some long wrenches. And the nut here for this particular puller, this one is a 13/16 inch, and this one is a 5/8 inch socket here on the top. And this type of pulley, it's held only by what's called the interference fit. So it's simply pressed in to the shaft. There's nothing else holding it. So what we're doing here, we're pulling it off out of the shaft, from the shaft. You can also use an air tool. And there it is. And the way we set this up, this is the shaft, so it sits like that, and this puller set, this is a special puller set just for power steering units. The set includes these two halves, and one side has a longer, or I should say wider lip. I don't know if you can see that. So the wider lip goes underneath. The pulley has this flange, and the way you can tell the type of pulley it is, if it's a pulley that you need to use this tool for, you'll see this this channel here, and the longer lip on the two halves goes on that channel, and it goes this way, and then you put your you back off your bolt here. I'll show you that. If the bolt is, it's already all the way in from a previous pull, you'll have to back it off. So you back it off all the way. Then you get the two halves with the longer lip down, which is going to fit on the pulley. So you set them on the pulley channel, like so. And you place the bolt inside the two halves, and then you use this ring, it also comes in the kit, to hold the two halves, and then you start pulling, and you would get your wrench on the nut, and then you start turning the top bolt like we did. Now, in this kit, like I mentioned earlier, it's from we got this one from O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and on their loaner tool program. So you pay for it, you bring it back within a couple of days, and you get your money back. So the next thing we want to do is, now we have access to the bolts here that hold the pump. So we need to go ahead and we'll remove these bolts right here. Okay, so next we're going to be using a 15mm socket to remove the 4 bolts that are holding the power steering bracket. So this is kind of tricky. You may want to use a vise or a way to get it to so you can put some torque into it. This way it's easy if you turn it on its side. And we're using a 15mm socket. So you got your 4 bolts. Holding the bracket. And there's one here that's a little shorter, which would be this one here. Be the one bottom right from the front, and you'll see it that the bracket is actually, it's the thickness, it's a little less, it's not as thick, and then so the shorter one will go right here. And then the other 3 are the same size. And now that gives us access to the actual pump, and we'll remove the pump from the reservoir, the power steering reservoir. You want to make sure you got shop towels and plenty of newspaper to collect all the fluid that'll be leaking out. And on this pump there are 2 bolts that are holding the actual power steering reservoir, and now we'll take those out next. Okay, and now we're ready to take off the two nuts holding the power steering reservoir to the pump. So we got these two nuts in the back, and they're you'll be using an 18 millimeter, and for this it would be a little easier to use a if you have some pneumatic tools, some air tools, because it's kind of hard to be putting some torque into this without moving. If you use a vise, you may want to also just be careful that not to dent the reservoir here, and also make sure not to put any pressure on the tube here and break off this tube if you're setting it down on a workbench. So we'll use our air tool. That makes it easier. Okay, next we'll remove the high pressure line fitting, and again we'll use an air tool to make it easier, and we'll be using a 1-inch socket for this. And then now we'll proceed to rebuild the pump and put in new O-rings. Okay, now that we have the power steering pump reservoir separated from the pump, we'll want to take the time and use a good degreaser and clean out all the deposits from inside the reservoir. And then after that we'll proceed to disassemble the pump and replace all the O-rings. Okay, next we'll want to remove the retaining ring right here on the pump, and the way we accomplish that is by driving a punch through the built-in hole in the pump, and then we can use a pick or a screwdriver, or a special screwdriver like this one, to dig it out. Like so. And we'll take out our cover and our spring. And we'll save these. The spring goes this way, and you'll see there's like a channel in the inside of the pump, which the spring sits, and it goes in like this. There's a few parts here, like some pins, make sure that you don't lose those. Okay, next we'll want to remove the plate, and we accomplish this by simply pulling it out, and if you need to, you can use like a couple of picks and evenly dig it out. And we want to do it in this position instead of turning the pump over, because if you do that, you'll have the little veins in the pump will fall out, the pump veins. So you want to make sure you keep it in this position, otherwise the small veins here, will fall out. Okay, at this point we may want to clean up our work area, because we'll be disassembling the inside of the pump, and there you want to make sure we keep everything clean. And these are the pump veins. You want to make sure you keep track of them. They go in like this. Like so. Okay, and so you want to make sure you don't lose those. Okay, next we'll be removing the bushing, and we'll be installing the new bushing. This is what it looks like. And to be able to install the new bushing, we have to remove the old one, and we can accomplish that by using this is a 15mm socket. You can use a 15mm socket, deep socket, or a 5/8. They both work pretty good. Or a 5/8 inch deep socket, and you can hammer on it, and then you'll be pushing the bushing out. And what we'll do the easy way. We'll use if you have a shop press, you can press it out, and it'll be easier. So we'll use that route, and we'll press it out with our shop press. Okay, so now we'll use our shop press to press the bushing out. And there's the bushing. And we'll put the new bushing, we'll press it in.
And I think that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful. And please don't forget to subscribe and like and share. And as always, try to stay clean. Just try.